I honestly believe that one of the most important aspects that shapes who a girl child becomes is the daddy they grew up with. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Mr. Olive, and in today's video I will be telling you some of the most important lessons I learned from my pops growing up as a little girl, and that have become really useful in me surviving by the days and shaping who I grew up to become.
Send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back better than last. Yeah, it's a new me.
Pops, this one stays with me everywhere I go. It stays with me each time I'm faced with an obstacle. I just remember what dad said. My dad groomed me to not be afraid. My dad taught me courage in face of obstacles. I think that just those little words help with my confidence a lot, because sometimes even if I'm struggling with stage fright, I'm about to give a presentation, I'm panicking, I'm suffering from anxiety about something, I just remember him saying, do not be afraid. And this has helped me. So, yes, this has been very important to me. Lesson number two, Pops taught me it is okay to always come back home. When you go out there and life knocks you hard, it's alright to come back home. And I think that this is something that a lot of children, especially children raised in African homes, lack. Most of them do not know that they can come back home. They go out there and they are lost in life, they are frustrated, they are making all the wrong decisions, and yet they do not understand that they can go back home because their parents did not put in so much effort into making it clear that they can always come back home. That home, not necessarily saying that home will always be a safety net, but just making a child understand that they are going to make mistakes in life and that it's okay to make mistakes because everybody made mistakes. It's a process. It's something that everybody lives. It's something that everybody goes through. And our mistakes are not necessarily going to be the mistakes of our parents. Our mistakes are going to, each person's mistakes are unique to them. So my dad made sure that I understood that I could always come back home, no matter how much I had messed up, no matter what mess I had gotten myself into. He made it clear that I could always come back home. When you make a child understand that they can always come back home, number one, they are not going to stay in messed up situations for long. Even if they make a mistake, sooner or later they are going to realize, oh, I should go back home. This isn't where I should be. I should go back home. Thing number two, they are all your home is always going to be that source of revitalization for them. It revitalizes their energy when they have gone out there and they have tried so much, and sometimes life has hit them so hard, has knocked them so hard. They know that it is okay for them to go back home, and that is something very special. They know that they can go back home and just rest. So many times in my life, I go back home to just rest because my dad made it obvious that I could always come back home to rest. And I think another important thing is that this makes them not to stay out in, I don't know, abusive relationships or unhealthy relationships, because they are not constantly craving for emotional comfort. They know that even if emotional comfort, even if I don't get it out there in this relationship that I am pursuing, I can always go back to my home. I can go back to my parents. I can go back to my mom. I can go back to my dad. I can go back to my siblings and get that emotional comfort. So they are not going to stay in abusive relationships too long. Now, another important thing that my dad taught me that has stayed with me throughout the days, the good, the bad, the ugly, is that God remains in control. I love the way that he makes it very simple for you to grasp and understand. That will always be like whatever situation you come and present to him, no matter how devastated, no matter how broken you are, and then he'll be like, why are you crying instead of going to your God? He'll be like, where? So I remember there was a time when I called home and I cried so hard. I was totally devastated. I felt like my world was falling apart. And after so much, after explaining so much and I went on and on and on and on and on, and they just kept listening. I think I had both parents on the phone, and they just listened. And after I had explained for about 30 minutes, crying, I was all over the place. I was all over the place. Honestly, I was crying so much about it, and immediately I finished talking, I remember mom spoke first, and she was like, "Where is your Bible?" And I'm like, "It's inside." She's like, "Where is it exactly?" I'm like, it's by my bed." And she's like, "What are you telling your God when you're crying so hard about the situation instead of going to Him in prayer?" And honestly, it's like I woke up from sleep, because at some point in your life, you just forget that you're supposed to be talking to God about it and not emoting about it. So my parents, they did that thing where each time you come and explain so hard and so hard, and they're like, it's obviously beyond your control. There's nothing you can do about it. The situation is what it is. So stop crying and go to God and put Him in charge of it. Carry those burdens to Him and just drop them at His feet, and don't cry, because we're really sorry that at this point we cannot help you. There's nothing we can do for you. All we can do for you right now is direct you to God, who is your first parent. So I feel like that has been really, really helpful for me. Times when I was like going through the worst circumstances, I was going through really tough circumstances, I would always remember my parents saying, like, before you come to me crying, I hope that you have gone to your first father crying. So my dad does that. So before you come to him crying, make sure that you have gone to God crying. And if you're telling him, you're just telling him you're no longer in total distress, you're no longer feeling helpless while telling him, you're just telling him so that he's updated about what's going on. Or you're not telling him like, well, the world is coming to an end, do something about it, because there's nothing he can do. There are situations in adult life, even as a child, there will be situations where there's nothing that your parents can do, even though they may not always want to make it obvious to you when as a child. But as an adult, sometimes they just have to tell you that there is nothing they can do. And the best they can do in those times when there is nothing they can do is, when there is nothing better they can do, is to send you to your first father. So that is something really important that my dad taught me. The final important thing that my dad taught me, that I've carried with me by the days and that has helped me through really tough times, has been, you are going to fail several times and it's okay. You are going to be rejected several times and it's okay. It's alright. It doesn't mean that you are not good enough. It doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. So sometimes you are going to do everything right and things are still going to go sideways. So that made me understand this, and this has really helped me. It has really been like a source of strength when I was going through like the worst times in my life. Because sometimes it hurts so bad when you played by the rules, you did everything right, and things still went south. Things didn't play out for you. But it's a reality of life, and that happens to everybody. So I think it was important that someone made it clear that you should stop feeling like I don't know, you stop feeling like you're this special person whom bad things do not happen to. Don't get this in the wrong way. Yes, of course you're special, of course but you need to build resilience for days when bad things happen, because it happens in every person's life. Sometimes things that you didn't wish for, things that you didn't pray for, are going to come your way, and you are going to need to survive those days. So that made it really clear that there are going to be times like that. You are going to play by the rules, and sometimes things will still go sideways. You're going to play by the rules, and sometimes people will still betray you. You're going to play by the rules, and sometimes your heart will still get broken. And it's probably not going to be just once. It may be many times. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Who knows? It's going to happen, and it's okay that it happens and happens. Never at any point think that something is wrong with you, or that you are doomed for failure, or that you're never going to make it because it failed once. Never ever think like that. So a lot of people will keep asking me, like, what type of parents do you have? How's your family like? I believe that you're a reflection of what your family is. Yes, I am a reflection of what my family is. I think that one of the most special things God did for me is give me the parents that I have. And my dad in particular has been very intentional about grooming me into the person that you see me becoming. And I am forever grateful for that. And I just want to share these lessons to young girls, young boys, especially those who are not fortunate enough to have caring fathers or present fathers, or those who unfortunately lost their parents too early. I just want to share these messages out there, and I hope that you can always remember them. This is advice that came from a parent to their child whom they love so much. And I hope that from all the lessons that I was taught, you can pick up 1 or 2 things that will help you navigate life with much more resilience, with much more courage, and with a much more positive spirit. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you do not miss any of my upcoming videos. I love you. In my dad's voice, subscribe.